Good afternoon. Having my afternoon chat with you with my glass of wine. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. You're welcome to join me with any reflections that you have. Feel free to leave some comments. Um, I have very few followers, but that's okay because but it's growing. I am getting more subscriptions, and I appreciate that. I think it's mostly because of my dog. I think everybody loves Schmickles, and it doesn't have anything to do with me. I think the reason why my channel is so popular is because of my dog. Because when I do a video of my dog, it's like, it goes up to 3,000 views. When I do it on me, it's like 20 views. Okay, I'm not insulted. That's all right. Because I just enjoy doing this. It's just, I'm just doing, I'm not doing, I don't need to do it for monetary reasons. I'm not out there like Tucker Carlson trying to get every view he can so he can get every buck that he can. I mean, that guy, wow, talk about selling out his soul. But I'm not going to go there. This is not about politics. This is about spiritual ideas. And I just wanted to share something um, that kind of disturbed me. And I did say something as politely as I could to this friend. But if I, in my own thoughts, I wanted to really explain to him. But I could see that there would be no way of talking to him because even what I said, the words just kind of blew over him, and he didn't even. It was like anything that I said just didn't even register with him. And he was telling me about. He went to. His family went to his daughter's graduation, and they must be very proud because it was a big deal. It was from Colombia, and the daughter spent a couple of years over in as an exchange Colombian student in Israel. Very, very smart um, writer, and um, and I know that it must have been a wonderful celebration for their family. Um, and I just, I said, hey, how did it go? How did the graduation went? And then, instead of telling me anything like, it was just such a wonderful thing to see my daughter, graduate. Instead, he brought up this picture of a chair that was, I guess, in front of them because there was apparently, there were a lot of people there at these graduations. I remember when I graduated, and you know, but there were always a lot extra chairs everywhere. So this, what I'm leading up to is, um, there were a lot of people there, and there were people looking for more chairs apparently, and there was maybe a shortage of some chairs, and he was in, I don't know if if it was his family that needed an extra chair or what, but he took this picture of a chair that was in front, and it said something about um, this chair is reserved in honor of our beloved. I'm paraphrasing, but apparently it was someone that they lost. It was a special, family member that they wish could have been there, and they had a little sign there that they were holding that chair for that person that passed on. And yes, everybody knows, okay, in the the soul that passed on does not need a physical chair to sit in. We all know that. But I couldn't help respecting the symbolism of it. Just to respect the symbolism of it, because they loved this person so much that they wanted to honor that person by having this chair and just leaving it there for them. as a honorary seat. We wish you could be here. We hope you're here, and here's a chair for you if you want to join us. Well, this friend of mine saw the little sign, and he started he thought this was hilarious. It was like something to be mocked and laughed at, and he talked about some comedian that would have really, you know, had it at them for, taking up, how dare they take up a chair, for no, there's, if they want to have someone that they lost be there, they don't need a physical chair. I understand that side of it. I understand where you can even see the humor of that. But after this person has no idea the pain of what it is to lose someone. And after I lost my mom, and I lost my brother at a very young age. He passed away at 30 years old. I lost my grandmother. I lost, my father. But the one that weighs the heaviest on my heart is losing my soulmate, my life companion. And if I were at a graduation, I think I would do something like that. I think I would have a little chair. This is for you, Richard. And it would be symbolic. It just, from a spiritual perspective, it would be symbolic. And he went on, like it was so funny and making, like I would have he mentioned some comedian that would make fun of it. And I said to him, well, very politely, I said, hey, they lost someone that they loved. It's symbolic, And when I said that, I could tell he didn't even hear me. He just turned to the other person that was also in the room, an assistant of his, and she started giggling, laughing. Well, why wouldn't she? Because she works for him, Yeah. But what I said is, hey, I know what you're saying. If they love someone in spirit, they don't need a physical chair, but it's symbolic, and it didn't even register. It just went over him because he wanted to just make it a joke, and he wanted to make it like mock it, and laugh at it. And I wanted to tell him, hey, one day you're going to lose someone, and you're going to, someone that really, like your wife, God forbid if you lose someone that you love. I don't want that, no one, I would never want that on anyone, but I'm just saying it happens to all of us. We all lose the ones we love, and either the husband goes first or the wife goes first, but whoever's left goes through the pain of grieving. And he obviously doesn't even know what that's like yet. He will. One day he's going to find out. And he's at an age where it's going to come up on him. And I wanted to say, look, this is very meaningful to this family. It's not anything to laugh at. It's not a joke. It's not anything to mock. And if you really need a chair that badly and you're upset and you're laughing because they're taking up an extra chair that maybe you want for your family, get your butt up and look around. Certainly at Columbia University at the graduation, you can find another chair somewhere else. But let them have their little honorary chair for whomever they lost. Now, I would understand if every family did that. If every family said, we got to have an empty chair for every, and hundreds of people had an empty chair for some, then, it would be kind of a bit of a problem. But it was just this one family, No one else was doing that. It was just this one family. They happened to be sitting behind them, and they got upset. Well, we need the extra chair. Hey, you got it. And he takes a picture of it. How, there's no one there, okay? There's nobody sitting in it. And if you're thinking about someone that you lost, they're not going to be, they don't need a physical chair. Okay, I get that. But just like in any kind of religious ceremony, if you will. This was a special ceremony for them. This was a big deal to this family, probably.